Hey guys, checking back in. All right, it is about 4:30 in the afternoon, and I want to say we left off somewhere around like 10:15, 10:30. So it's probably been about 6, 7 hours since we left off. So let's check in on our campaign here and see where we're at. I did take a peek, so I am a little bit ahead of you, but I just want to see here and see what our actual numbers are. I actually didn't look at this, but it looks like so far we've got a total spend of $219.44. Today we've got about $48 here. So we're about halfway through our ad spend for the day for both campaigns. Remembering we set these at $100 a day yesterday, and I haven't touched them. I haven't paused the campaigns. I haven't, tweaked really anything except for, remember we went to the fan page and I did add a banner and that kind of stuff. I did add the stethoscope on that. We'll check it out here in just a minute. In fact, I've only got a few minutes here before I got to go pick up my son, so we'll kind of breeze through here real quick. Let's actually take a look at the actual ads that are running and see. Now our cost per post engagement is going up. We were, I think at the low we were around 11 cents, and it looks like we are, on an audience of 30,000, we are just a little past a third through it here. At 11,000, which means we haven't even tapped, we've only tapped a third of that audience. Here we're at 10,000, and that's of an audience of 26,000, so we're a little more than a third of the way through that one, maybe 35% through that one. But we haven't started doubling up yet, so meaning our ads are still, each person has really pretty much only seen our ad once. 759 clicks here, 6.6. Our click-through rate has gone down a little bit, but to have a 6% click-through rate and have had already a reach of 11,000, I think is pretty good. So about 6.1 here and about 6.6 here. As I always like to do, I like to see where my cost per clicks are. So 83.78 divided by 371 gives us a total of about 22.5 cents. We'll say 23 cents a click to the website. And remember, we're bringing in 48 cents per click. So anything below that is money. Okay, so let's take a look at this other one. At 84, this one's going to be lower. I can see that already. So that one was at 23 cents. So let's say $84.57. Divide that by 267 clicks to the website, and that equals 31 cents per click to the website. I mean, again, as long as we're staying under that 48, obviously I don't want to be close to that 48. That would mean we're breaking even. But based on our numbers before, as long as, you get the drift there. What this is not accounting for are people who, like, shares, and comments, people who are clicking on our ad from shared posts. I don't believe that this is recording those. So here, just checking out our engagement. Our engagement is still really, really high. 246 post likes on this one, 109 page likes just on this ad alone, and 107. And I expect that our page likes should have increased percentage-wise, simply due to the fact that we changed. Did I change the name when we were on video last time? I think maybe I did, maybe I didn't. But anyways, I changed the name to Real Men Are Nurses, the name of our fan page, as opposed to All About Nurses. I made it a little more gender specific for our specific ad. So I not only that, but I also added the banner. So I would assume that we would be getting more page likes because of that. 107 other actions, and we could view the full detailed report. I think we may wait to do that towards the end when we're done with the campaign and we analyze it. Here, 371 website clicks is phenomenal. 166 post likes, 68 post shares. And here you can see these two are about even. 93 shares, 97 shares, 12 comments, 21, 223, and 272. Great progress. And again, our job titles are the front runner for clicks to the website, and that's more important to me than anything. So, you guys ready for the magic number, like the real number, which is the actual number of sales? Well, as of about 10 minutes ago, and currently 21 here, we'll just refresh to make sure that's still where we're at. Yeah, so 21 sales. So let's run our numbers, okay? So coming back here, 21 sales, and remember we said our average profit per shirt is $18.26, and if we multiply that by 21, that has us at about $383 in revenue. And so basically, if we subtract the 383 from the 219, that's our total profit. So if we subtract that from the 219.44, that's our total profit in about 48 hours. So we've spent $219 to make $164. Not ideal, usually this number should, at this point, should be double this. And as I've been thinking about this particular campaign, I think a couple things lead me to kind of make sense of why our numbers are a little bit lower. One of those things I think are the fact that our front runners are hoodies, right? So think about it. I mean, we're coming into we're now in the second half of April. Weather is really starting to get nice. We're marketing these hoodies, and the fact of the matter is, we're getting out of hoodie season. I'm wondering if that has any bearing. I'd be interested in talking to some other shirt sellers and just wondering, are they pulling back on their hoodie campaigns and starting to more promote T-shirts and V-necks and tank tops? Are they seeing a dip? I would imagine that's pretty logical, right? I mean, you're going to see less hoodie sales, and that's kind of our front runner here. Second part of this, this is kind of a higher end product. It's a $39.95 sale, as opposed to most of the campaigns that I run are $19.95, $21.95 transactions. And I think if we would have led with a T-shirt, it's hard to say. We can't predict, the future or predict exactly what would have happened. But based on some simple logic, I would think that if I would have led with a T-shirt and maybe done a lower price, I would venture to say, given the time of year, the season, I would venture to say that our return on investment would probably be higher. Now, I'm just guessing, but I would think, and I don't know if you guys agree with me or not. Sure, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. Let me know, however there is to get back to me. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are. The other thing here is we ramped up our campaign last night, and we had a bunch of sales come in last night. I think peak sales are right around 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock in the evening. So, if today we've had so far 10 sales, I'm going to make a hypothesis here that, and we've spent about $100. We've spent about half of our ad spend. But I would venture to say the other half of our ad spend, the other $100, will generate, I predict that it will generate more than 10 sales. In fact, I'm going to predict that it'll generate around 15 sales, which will certainly help our return on investment. And if that's the case, that has me wondering if maybe we should consider turning off our ads from, say maybe around 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's say 11 o'clock local time till 4 o'clock, 3:30. So maybe a 4 or 5 hour time frame that the ads are turned off. So, anyways, that's my insight so far. Like I said, we are at 21 shirts sold. We've got a positive ROI. Not ideal, but I think we're learning a lot in the process. And not only that, but let's see if we actually go to if I actually go to the actual ad. First of all, I need to, and I may just do that here while we're recording, but going to, I wanted to go to the actual fan page and see what our likes were up to here, and also show you the final product of our banner here. So, I just added this right here to what you guys had seen before. And yeah, we're up to 137 likes on our fan page here. And I changed it to Real Men Are Nurses. And you know what else I'm going to do is I'm going to have this highlight. And that's the other thing, is I added the links right here. If people are coming here and they're checking out our page, here's just some additional links. Like go get this shirt, right? Okay. Cool. I don't know if you guys want to hang out. All I'm going to do here... Oh, let's check this out. This is the stats page. Okay. Now, the stats have not converted to reflect the 21 sales. Sometimes this is a little lagged. But notice, I have been kind of keeping an eye on this conversion rate for today. And it had dipped down as low as like 1.6, and again, I think that has a lot to do with, there's kind of a dead time, it feels like. I think maybe during business hours, let's say, the key business hours between about 10:30 in the morning till about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, a span of about 5 hours. And like I said, at the lull, it was like at 1.6, and it really over the last hour and a half to 2 hours has jumped right back up to 2.64. I love to see this number high. The reason I love to see that high is because it means, per user clicking on the website, the conversion. So basically, out of 100 people that visit the website, 2.64 buy, right? I love to see this number around 4 or 5%. Our profit would be through the roof if that were the case. And then just the overall conversion for the campaign since the start. This is just for today and from the start. So I like that. This is a good, healthy number. What I think is hurting us also is our clicks, our conversions. We're paying a little bit higher price per click, right? So our engagements are at 13 cents, and like I said before, I like to see those around, anything lower than 8 cents per post engagement I think is phenomenal. So that's eating into our profit, obviously, because it's costing us more money to get those clicks. I think if we did a little bit of trickery, if we added some custom audiences and really refined it, we could probably get those numbers down. But I really was hoping to, and I'm glad that we've been able to so far, show you guys that we can monetize without using custom audiences. So, I started to do that, and I killed the campaign immediately once I saw that we were having some success with just the normal targeting through Facebook's editor. So, anyways, let's see. So now all I'm going to do now that so real quick, let's just take a look here. 2.64. We can see here. Let's see what else. What other information are we going to get? That's not really giving us a ton of information. And this, I'm having a tough time understanding reading it because the time zone, it seems really odd here. I don't know if this just means in general, on average. It must. It must not be on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. Anyways, I'm not really sure exactly how to interpret that graph there. Views and orders by the day of week. So you can see yesterday we had a total of 6 orders. Today it's showing total of 15. And I don't know exactly when the cutoff time is. These numbers here, I think, are a little bit tougher to read. I'm really hoping that Teespring gets a little bit better about, their tracking here. Although, I will say, check this out. I mean, for mobile, there's a lot to be said right here. The second and third line. I mean, look, seven sales have come from that mobile link, and 7 sales have come from that mobile link. So, I mean, I think there's a lot to be said for mobile devices, and making sure that you're optimizing your campaigns for the mobile devices. And here, I'm really not sure how to interpret that. As far as sales go, it looks like we are making about half of the sales are hoodies, and the other half are the Hanes tagless tee, and 1 sale of the long sleeve. And that's it. So anyways, now I'm just going to really quickly go into our ads, and I was going to just go in and like, and probably, I don't know if I'll comment right now on these, unless if there's a specific solicitation for a comment. Sorry, computer's lagging here. So I'm going to close out this window. Come over here. Almost 100 shares per post, though. Isn't that phenomenal? Okay, is there anyone here who we have not liked their comment yet? Or replayed back? I wonder, they're probably going to be towards the bottom. There's one right here. So is there just one? Okay. And then here. Let's check this out. There's one right there. Go ahead and like that one. So just the one. Okay, cool. Alright, so we'll leave off right there. So we'll leave off, we'll just refresh this, see if we've got any sales here. Okay, so still at 21. We'll live, well, yeah. Oh, look at that, we're at 22. Love seeing that, right? Alright. Okay, so we're leaving off at 22 at 4:53. I'm thinking next time I check in will probably be somewhere around 10, 11 o'clock at night. So we'll let this run for about 5-6 hours and eat up. It'll eat up about the rest of the campaign, the other $100 in ad budget here over the next 6-7 hours. So I'll try to check in about 5-6 hours or so. So let me just refresh this so we get a clear number of where our ad spend is. So $102 so far. Okay. All right. Cool. Checking out. We'll see you here shortly. All right, guys, we are back. All right. So jumping right back in, I have not touched, paused, increased, decreased our ad spend. I have taken peeks. Obviously, I'm kind of keeping an eye on the campaigns as we're going. So let's just jump right in here and see where we're at. Let's see. Again, a lot of information to process here. I can see here we're at $196 spent today. 98 and 98. Let's break these down. Of course, we're going to lag. In fact, here, let's go back. I'm just going to do ads and all except or active, I mean. Okay, so these are our ads right here. We can just see them side by side. 6.554 click-through rate. So we're staying pretty consistent, between 6 and 7% click-through rate, which is good. $98 spent on both these. It's about 11:20 right now in the evening, about ready to go turn in. But $98 spent here, $98 spent there. So far total we're 133 and 133. 855 engagement. Our cost per engagement has gone up significantly. Remember, we were hanging out around 11 cents per engagement. You know, when you're talking about hundreds and hundreds of post engagements, you know, 4 cents makes a big difference. I mean, let's do the math. We're talking 1,700 post engagements, okay? So 1,700 times 0.04, that's $68. Okay, that's a big difference in ad spend here that we're paying per post engagement. And you know, I don't know the exact code of why, you know, this fluctuates, you know, our OCPM. The only thing I can really relate it to that I've noticed a difference in is the amount of ad spend that we're throwing at a campaign, and we're going to talk about that here in just a sec. I don't want to spend too much time, just want to really break down the nuts and the bolts here. But as usual, I just want to check in and see where we are cost per click. So here on this ad, $133 spent. Divided by 507 website clicks gives us 26 cents. Now that's up quite a bit. Remember, we were at, I think at our best we were probably around 17, 18 cents. So that's increased to about 26.2 cents. And let's take a look at our other one here. So 133.43, 133.43 divided by 360. That's going to definitely be a higher spread there. So wow, 37 cents per click. Remember, we're profitable at around 48 last time we checked, right? So, you know, at 37 cents a click, that's really cutting it close. And I'll tell you, so I'll just shine some light here on what my thoughts are. I'm thinking because we increase our ad spend, now take a look here. We are at about a 14,000, so we're about 50% of reaching our total pool of people here, right? But when we increase our ad spend, my theory is that we're also competing against other marketers who are trying to target those specific individuals. Maybe they're also parts of other niches. And so when we increase our ad spend, we are really putting a high dollar value on these prospects, and we're pulling ads, or we're pulling them away from viewing other ads. Again, this is just kind of my theory, but it makes sense in my head as to why our cost per engagement goes up. Same thing here. And just taking a quick look, I think we were at right around 100 last time we checked in. We've got 130 shares there and 136 shares there. And these have been staying pretty consistent neck and neck, right? 370 likes, and this one has got 290. But again, you know, our job titles are significantly outpacing our page likes as far as clicks to the actual websites go. So anyways, just some insight there. So with that being said, here's my thought. I really don't like our cost per click and our cost per 1,000 impressions going up the way that they have. So I'm actually going to pull back our campaign a little bit. Well, and the reason I say that is, again, I mean, obviously if the numbers were translating, but I already know, you know, coming here, we're below expected, far below expected actually. I was expecting to get a pretty good jump this evening on sales, and I think the last time we checked in we signed out at 22, and right now we're at 26. So literally in the last 6-7 hours we've only made 4 sales, even though we've, you know, our engagement has stayed high. we've only made 4 sales since then. So let's just quickly do the math here. So if we do the math and we say, 26 times 26 times, well, actually, I just want to count today. Okay, so let's say, I think we started out the day with 11, so that gives us 15. So we'll say 15 sales times 18.26 gives us a total of $273 in revenue that came in. So, and then basically we just subtract $200 from that, because that's what we will have spent by the end of the day, right? So technically today we made 74 bucks, which honestly isn't that impressive for having made 15 sales. And I think a lot of that, like I was saying, has to do with our ad spend going up. Not to mention, I tell you what, I am going to shine some light on something that I did see here that I think may have impacted our sales a little bit. And every single campaign is going to teach you guys something new. In fact, every single campaign is going to teach you several new things, and that's why experience is an amazing teacher, right? But check this out. So I came in here a little bit earlier, and I was just checking in and seeing it, because I was shocked at having only sold I think at that time it was only like 3 in the time that had lapsed. And what I noticed was, over the last few hours, there have been several. Look, you notice these 3 little dots right here? 5 hidden. I've hidden a few comments. Check this out. So this guy says, LOL, not gonna wear that. So this guy's a little macho. He doesn't like the pink, right? But I think that stemmed from some of these other guys. Look at the first guy. So 6 hours ago was obviously long before this one, but 6 hours ago, drop the pink and we'll talk, right? And it's interesting how we didn't get any comments related to the color or the femininity or anything like that up until this guy first post 6 hours ago, and then we get, I really like this but not for the $27.50. So we get a negative comment, and remember, we didn't get any negative comments before this. I really like this but not for $27.50 plus shipping for a t-shirt. Make your price more reasonable and we'll buy one. Way too pink, bruh. Right? Trying to talk bro here, but way too pink. And again, I didn't get that before. No, just no. So it's kind of like that bad apple theory. You get one bad apple and then you get a bunch of other bad apples, right? Like the whole bale goes bad. So anyways, when I noticed that, I thought, I wonder if that had any impact on sales. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. But nonetheless, very coincidental that in the last 6 hours, these comments all kind of came in back to back. So I just went ahead and hid those comments. And when you hide these comments, what it does is, it'll hide it from anyone else except for the person who actually posted it. Yeah, so it'll hide it from the people who actually posted it, and not hide it from the people who posted it and their friends, but it will hide it from everyone else. So anyways, I'm going to keep those hidden, but those were really the only new comments that I had seen, and they were all pretty negative. So coincidence or not, who knows? But just wanted to point to that. So with that said, I mean, total, let's just do some quick math here. So total, if we've sold 26 shirts times 18.26, so total revenue we're looking at 474. We're about a little over 48 hours into this campaign, so 474 in revenue, and we have spent on this campaign $372.52. So minus $372.52. Wow. So we've made, can that even be right? Man, we've made a whopping $100 in the last 2 days, which is honestly kind of discouraging. So I'm going to put my thinking cap on tonight. I am definitely not going to work on this campaign anymore. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to bring our ad spend down from the $100 per day down to, let's say, because keep in mind, this campaign is what? We still got a week and 2 days, so we still got 9 days to go in this campaign. And that gives us plenty of time to kind of think and brainstorm of, maybe some other things that we can implement or do to jack up our sales. But for now, it's late at night, so I'm pretty much going to put the kibosh on it. But I do have some ideas, and we'll pick back up on that tomorrow. So, anyways, just want to shine some light on that. We've got some ups and some downs, and like I was telling you before, don't let the excitement take you too much, and don't let the downs take you down too much. So, it's all in a learning process. We haven't lost any money here. Haven't made what we've wanted, but let's keep our heads up and trudge through and see if we can't make this a real winning campaign. Okay, let's say a goal at minimum is to make as much as we spend. So if we end up spending $500 or $1,000 on this campaign, let's make at least 100% return on our investment, which isn't typically ideal, but I usually, like I said, like to see 2, 3, even 4 times what I'm spending, back in return. But hopefully you guys are learning something. This is Will. Check it out. We'll catch you on the next video. Hey guys, Will. We're back. All right, so it is, I think the last time we checked in was what, like 11 o'clock last night? It is now about 6 o'clock in the evening the next day. I have not touched the campaign aside from just, checking in, and I believe I was still recording when I dropped the budget. Remember, we kind of left on a lower note, and I dropped the budget down to $35 a day, and I gave a few reasons as to why I felt like maybe the campaign wasn't performing as expected. But let's check in. Let's see if we go to our ads and see how we're doing today. Basically, we should be more than half of the day, and as you can see here, right here, is ours. You can see we're about $41 and about 50 cents, 53 cents, 54 cents. Yeah, $41.54 into today's campaign. Now these budgets are only set at $35 per day, so let's take a look at each of these and see what we're looking at. Now, at this point now, I want to start looking at it from, right now it's giving you an overview of the entire campaign, right? But I want to see how are we performing in proportion to how we've been performing. Like how are we doing today as opposed to, the rest of the campaign. So first of all, let's just see this right here. 5.947, oops. So 5.9, so basically 6% there and almost 6.5% here. And is it staying pretty consistent with, okay, so the page fans are producing a little better click-through rate, and the job titles are producing a little less, but our job titles are far surpassing clicks to the actual website, even though I believe our reach is about this. Wow, they're running like neck and neck. Look, 1,019 here. Every time I touch it, it closes. 1,019 there, and 1,028 here. 15 cents and 15 cents. 15,000 reach, 14,000 reach, 15,600 actually. We're at a frequency of about 1 1/4 to 1 1/3. We are at 1,090 clicks there, 1,285. Total spent for each campaign, 155 here, 156 here, and our optimized CPM is 7.81 per thousand impressions, and here it's 8.49. and these will fluctuate. Now, what I was alluding to is I like to see, the overall, how's the overall campaign been doing, but then I also like to come back up in here and just let's look at today, and you can do that just right here in this upper right hand corner to see how the ads are actually performing just today. And as you can see, our click-through rates are lower than they have been, and this is just for today. So 4.623, significantly lower, and 5.5, so about 1% lower here and about 1% lower there. As you can see, our cost per engagement is still kind of high. I'm just curious to see what our actual cost per click to the website is running us today. So 20.78, and this is for our job titles. 20.78 divided by 75 clicks to the website. It's giving us a click-through rate of about 27 cents. And then let's see our other one. 27 cents there, and then let's see, this one is giving us 20.76. Look at that, running neck and neck as far as Facebook's doing a good job of splitting our traffic here. So 20.76 and divide that by 72. So 27 and 28 cents. So they're running pretty close to each other. Now our CPM has gone down from overall. Remember, it was 8 and 7, and here we're looking at about 7 here and 6.34. So it's costing us less per thousand, but it's still costing us a little bit more because our click-through rates have gone down a little bit. That may be because since we're starting to overlap a little bit, people have seen our ad, a little bit, not a lot, but some banner blindness I think is probably starting to settle in. And if we look at the overall interaction, 57 post likes, 37 page likes, 19 other actions. Here we've got 75 website clicks, 35 post likes, 22 post shares. Wow. So our job titles are doing a great job of sharing our well, I tell you what, they both are. They're sticking neck and neck. Look at that. 157 there, 160 here, 19 comments and 28, 332, and then 435 likes here. Now that's interesting. This again is our fan page likers. So these guys more than likely are trained or just used to clicking more, like clicking the like button more. So that's probably why they're. Anyways, all right. What else do we want to look at analyzing this? Oh, you guys want to know numbers. Where are we at? How many shirts have we sold today? So we've spent a total of $41.50, and I think we ended last night at 26 shirts. Right, that was about 11 o'clock at night, and I woke up this morning, there were still only 26 sold. And so basically we've sold 6. So let's just do the quick math and see where that puts us. So 6 times 18.26 equals 109. Subtract $41.50, what do we say, 4 cents. So we're in the positive about $68 on this campaign. You guys, I'll continue to emphasize again, this is not the type of return I'm used to. Obviously, any positive ROI is good ROI, but I usually like to see 2 to 3 times my investment. But I think we're doing good. We're holding our own. And I tell you what, I don't know. I'm kind of regretting having turned down the campaign from 100 to 35 because today is Friday, and so I expect sales to go up. But then again, I expected sales to go up last night, right? And they did not. But I tell you what, at a little over 100% ROI right now, especially it's about 6 o'clock, people are going to be chilling out, getting off work, just got paid. I'm thinking I'm gonna jump our ad budget back up. I'm gonna do that right now, actually. I'm gonna jump our ad budget back up to $100. So here, and that's gonna be $100 per campaign. Actually, I don't know. Am I that ballsy? let's do this. Let's keep it, because I think that's part of the, it's part of the reason why we got our CPM lower, but I don't know that it really matters much because our click-through rate went down a little bit. I think after this weekend, now keep in mind, we still have 9 days left in this campaign, right? And I tell you what, I'm using this campaign, like I said, as a case study to help you guys. Hope you're getting a lot of value out of it so far. And because we have such a long campaign, you know what, I'm just going to keep recording these short videos, and we will continue to test and tweak and see if we can come up with some proven and new strategies to boost our sales. I don't know if any of you guys are questioning at this point if we're going to reach our 100, but I tell you, I really at this point don't question that we'll reach 100 sales by the end of our 9 days. In fact, I'd like to see it done well before that, but I would like to see that at least having realized 100% return on investment. Meaning, again, if I spend, you know, $700, $800, or $1,000 even, then I should be, you know, I should earn about $2,000 in revenue, basically giving me $1,000 profit from that. So, anyways, let's go ahead and increase that to 75. I'll go ahead, and if we have good success with it, you know, for tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday, and I'll bump it up to 100. Oops, I accidentally hit the return button, or the enter button. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry, I don't know. Speaker was going weird here. Okay. Very cool, very cool. So a couple things that that I think we'll start implementing here shortly, and this is, kind of ties into what I was just talking about. You know, strategies to get more exposure. Obviously, we've still got a pretty good amount of reach. I think that we haven't even touched yet because these are such large audiences. However, you know, not everyone's going to be logging in. We're going to start running our ads in, more and more, running our ads in front of people who've already seen them. Which we can see that already because our click-through rates have dropped, right? I mean, our overall click-through rates haven't dropped because this is over the whole campaign, but when we look at it on per-day basis today, they, you know, they definitely are down. A few things I believe that we can do to get that back up, which I think I may spend a little bit of time either tonight or tomorrow creating just a couple new ads. I'd like to create a couple ads, one with a nurse or a group of nurses in the background with our shirt in the foreground. I'd like to also, we haven't even started marketing to women, which are, I think will significantly drive our engagement up. And not only that, but we'll also try to create some copy that encourages the women to either purchase the shirts for their counterpart male nurses or their spouses, and maybe even, I don't know if, how we might do this, maybe it's in the targeting of managers, but I don't know, maybe we can even get you know, get people to buy in bunches by encouraging people to buy for their office or a group of guys, or I don't know if we can target, I think we can target birthday. I don't know, we'll get creative. I mean, like I said, we've got 9 days. I mean, 9 days left. 8 or 9 days left, so that means we've got, you know, this weekend and next weekend. So anyways, I don't know, maybe by then you guys get tired of watching these videos, but hopefully every single video you guys are catching a new nugget, you know, a new tidbit that's going to help you move your campaigns forward. I tell you what, I wish there was someone who had created videos step by step, not leaving anything out like I'm creating right now, when I had first started, because I would be much, much further ahead. You know, everything that I'm teaching you guys, a lot, let's say most of it has been trial and error, right? Sure, I've bought into a course, I've looked at some stuff on YouTube, but even, you know, the course that I bought, I think I watched like a quarter of the videos, and you know, I hope you don't look at it like I'm tooting my own horn. I'm just saying I'm more of a hands-on. Let me try it and experiment, learn what I can. But anyways, hopefully you guys are getting some value here. All right, moving along. Let's see here. Let me take this over here. What else do we want to look at? We've got, our campaign here, 1.9, so almost 2,000 likes on our page here. And why don't we look at our analytics? Let me bring this over here. Sometimes these are an easy read, sometimes they're not. You can see here, how our sales have been going with our traffic. We should be seeing a spike in traffic here because I just increased the budget. Views by time of day, you can see there's a big boost right here, right around, what is that, 7 to 8 a.m. What is this? 6 to 7 a.m. through to 11 p.m. It really drops off at midnight. Yeah, 12 o'clock. Really drops off. So I would say this is probably where we want to chase it to. So probably about 11 o'clock. So if you were going to, if you were going to be turning your ads on and off, you'd probably want to do it like, again, right around this 7 o'clock, I would say, in the morning. Turn them off at about 11 o'clock at night, 7-11. We have not been doing that. We've just been, trudging ahead. I'm on Mountain Time, so let's kind of just take a look at this. Looks like the bulk of our sales have been happening at noon, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. That's kind of the prime time right there that we've received the most sales. And this, from what I've gathered, this pretty much just couples every day. So tomorrow at noon, it'll add whatever sales at noon right into this block right here. And here, orders by day. This really isn't helping me much. I tell you what is helping me though is going back up and looking. Well, here we can see more people have bought into the teas. I'm wondering if maybe we should create an ad with the tea in the foreground, right? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. But more people are buying the teas. The hoodies are at 13, 17. We've got a woman who's, a ladies V-neck has been purchased and a long sleeve black. All right. Looks like we've got a tweet out on Twitter, but I also like to get back in here. That's great. 2.69. It's not the best, but it's certainly good. Again, for every 100 people, 2.69 are buying, right? So if we can just get our cost per click down, we could really ramp up, the traffic that we drive here, and that seems to have been staying pretty consistent, right? The total conversion has gone down a little bit. It's gone down to 2.11, and I think that has a lot to do with yesterday. Yesterday afternoon just seemed to be very slumpy on through the night. All right, cool. So besides that, I don't know that I'm really going to do anything else right now. Like I said, I may come back on and create with you guys a couple new ads to battle the banner blindness, and I think we may start up a couple campaigns to target women and women nurses in this niche. All right, cool guys, that's it for now. We'll talk to you on the next video.